It's peak week of my London Marathon build, and it's finally time to open these and take them for a spin. We're now just 4 weeks away from the London Marathon, and this is peak week. So hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you through an entire week of training to run a sub 320 marathon, as well as give you my honest thoughts on my brand new, unopened and unused race day shoes. Let's get into it. So here we are, it's Monday, and we're off to a huge start to the week with a rest day. Anticlimactic, I know. But 9 times out of 10 my long run is done on a Sunday, so Mondays are almost always a rest day for me, with the occasional exception of some weight training. Tuesday morning we were back at it with my recovery run for the week. So this is generally the shortest distance run of the week at an easy pace and is just used to get the legs moving again. I threw my daily runners on, headed out and covered 3.1 miles at a 9:32 minute mile pace. Tuesday evening came round and me and the future missus headed to the gym for some weight training. I'm currently running a 3-day full body split with focus on 2 compound movements each session. Most of the leg and core work are focused on my weak areas and improving my power through run specific exercises. For me, that looks like some core work, plenty of adductor and glute work, and also a lot of single leg exercises to mimic the actions we take when we're running. Saying that, I pick and choose which exercises I do as single leg exercises, because quite honestly, I don't want to be in the gym for 6 hours at a time. And then most of the upper body stuff is mainly for aesthetic purposes because, well, I like to attempt to look good and I want to keep the little bit of shape that I have now that I'm running more miles. So, it's Wednesday and the time has finally come to see what's in the box. So personally, I've always been an Alpha Fly man. I ran my first marathon in these, the original Alpha Flies, and to be honest, I've never looked back. Unfortunately, nowadays, Alpha Flies are like rocking horse. They're extremely hard to come by. So after failing to get my hands on a pair of the new Alpha Fly 3s, I decided to go with something slightly different. The Vaporfly 3. Now, I've had Vaporflies before, and I have friends who swear by them, but truthfully, I've never really given them a chance. See, the Alpha Flies just worked for me, so there was never any reason for me to fix something that wasn't broken. My last pair of Vaporflies have never even been raced in. I've ran a ton of training miles in these, but I've never taken them to a race, which, to be honest, is complete sacrilege, because they're a race day shoe. You don't pay the absurd amount of money that these cost to just simply train in them. Unless you're an idiot. Anyway, these are straight out of the box. I'm yet to even try them on, never mind running them. But aesthetically, I absolutely love this shoe. The colourway caught my eye from the moment that I saw it, and to be honest, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for white running shoes. And up until now, I've never allowed myself to have any because quite honestly, I just can't be trusted in them. But there's a first for everything. Some facts and figures for all you shoe nerds out there. The shoe has an overall drop of 8mm with a 40mm stack height at the heel and a 32mm stack height at the toe. For my UK size 9.5, the shoe weighs in at 211 grams, which is 8 grams less than its predecessor. It's a neutral carbon-plated race day shoe, and a pair of these will set you back £245. As you can see, we have a clear view of the carbon plate from the cutaway on the underside of the shoe. We have a Zoom X Nike midsole and a Flyknit upper. And all round, almost everything on this shoe has a very sleek and well-designed feel to it. Now I say almost everything because I have noticed a couple of little defects on the midsole print, which, to say these shoes are £245, I can't say I'm overly happy about, but in my experience, these prints look fantastic straight out of the box, and then after 1 or 2 runs, they crack, they split, and they start to look worn pretty quickly anyway. So I'm going to live with it because my main priority right now is making sure I'm happy with the shoe and breaking them in for race day. So now's the time for the fun part. Today I have 6 miles to cover. 1 mile warm up, 4 miles at marathon pace, and a 1 mile cool down. So I'm gonna get these laced up, take them out for a spin, and I'll see you when I get back.
Should know better, 'cause you always do this to me. But you start to play. Later this believe that I don't make. And I promise myself it will never happen again.
So I've just got back in from my first run in the new Vaporflies. I ran 2 warm-up miles because I went out with George and we got chatting for a couple of miles, followed by 4 marathon pace miles, and then a walk just to cool down. The run went way better than expected. I ran the 4 marathon pace miles based on feel, and the miles ended up being significantly faster than my marathon pace. My splits ended up being a 7:04, 7:13, 7:14, and a 7:02. So today's 7 to 7:15 minute miles felt more like what 7:30 has been feeling like in recent weeks, which I am not complaining at. Now I have no idea if that's down to the shoes or just down to me having a really good day, but I imagine it's probably a mix of the two. So first impressions of the Vaporflies are extremely good. Shoe felt super responsive, springy, comfortable, and very sturdy. Everything that you would want from a race day shoe. One thing I will mention is that in the beginning of the run I had a little bit of a problem with heel slippage. So during the 2 warm-up miles I stopped, I heel locked the laces, and after that the problem seemed to have stopped. So far I'd say I'm very happy with these shoes, and providing all goes well on my long run this weekend, I am super excited to be running in them in London. Thursday was a cross-training day. 6 miles on the elliptical in the morning, followed by another weight session in the evening. So generally I try to run as many of my weekly miles as possible, but occasionally I'll throw some cross-training in there. This build, I have been struggling with a little bit of Achilles tendonitis on my right foot, and that stemmed from a training error I made back in September last year when I was training for the Great North Run. Therefore, when I have a flare-up and my Achilles isn't feeling all that great, I tend to swap one of my easy runs out for an elliptical or a biking session. So Thursday morning was 90 minutes on the elliptical, which got me just over the 6 mile mark. And Thursday evening, we hit the gym again for another weight session. Friday, me and George headed out early doors for a 6 mile easy run before we headed off to Scarborough where I was working for the weekend. This one ended up being 6 miles at a 10-13 minute mile pace, which is slightly slower than my ideal easy pace, but perfect for some recovery miles. Saturday meant the 3rd and final weight session of the week, this time focused on squats and overhead press as the compound movements. Now this session, squats are the only lower leg exercise, and we've done that purposely after a lot of trial and error. Reason being that both me and George have found that going on a long marathon paced workout on a Sunday with leg DOMs is not the most enjoyable way to spend your weekend. And therefore we've started loading most of the lower body work into the beginning of the week to get it out of the way before the weekend comes round. That way the strength training has as little impact on the marathon build as physically possible. Now Sunday would almost always be my long run day, but with it being a bank holiday weekend I was working late on the Saturday and then back gigging again from 12 PM on Sunday. And therefore I decided to take Sunday as a rest day. I ate a lot of food, a lot of chocolate, and decided I would hit my long run well fueled on the Monday. Maybe a little too well fueled. Monday came around and I hit my longest and fastest run of the entire build. I didn't take my GoPro on this run because I figured it was way more important for me to actually hit my splits than it was to worry about filming. But the run was 22 miles overall, with 7 rounds of 1 mile easy and 2 miles at marathon pace, totaling 14 miles at marathon pace and 8 miles easy. Did I regret how much food I ate the night before? Yes, I did. But would I do the exact same thing again given the chance? Yes. Yes, I would. I just love food. And quite honestly, I regret nothing. Anyway, here's the footage both pre and post run on the biggest day of prep. So it's Monday morning and I'm about to head out on my last long run of the build. With it being the final long run of the build, I'm testing everything out that I'm going to be using on race day. I have my Guide Dogs t-shirt on, making sure that we don't get any nipple chafe, because that is something that we definitely do not want on race day. I have the new Vaporflies on. Unfortunately, the weather is not ideal, so whether they come back looking as good as they do now, I have no idea, but they need wearing in. I did eat a little too much food last night. It was Easter. But other than that, I'm good to go. So I will check in with you guys in 22 miles time. Let's do this. So I've just got back in from my long run and I am very happy to say that that was the easiest 22 miles I have ever done. And it was by far the fastest pace I've ever ran 22 miles. Everything in that run went as well as I possibly could have asked for. So I am absolutely stoked about that. My Achilles was slightly sore at certain points. It seems to have flare-ups. It gets bad for a mile or so and then all of a sudden eases back up. It's feeling a little sore now, so I'm going to ice it and hope that the taper really allows it to heal. Overall though, I am super happy with how that has gone. It feels like an amalgamation of the last 16 weeks and has given me an insane amount of confidence for this marathon coming up. I genuinely feel like I could have just kept going today. I could have got a marathon PB today, but I figured I'll stick to the plan, I'll save it for marathon day, and now I'll focus on rest, recovery, and the taper period for the next 2 weeks. And I look forward to going into marathon day feeling fresh and ready to smash a PB. So now that the long run is done and I've covered nearly 30 miles in this shoe, the question is, what do I think of it and will I be wearing it in London? I think it's safe to say that after the run I've just done in these, I would highly recommend them as a race day shoe, and yes, you will certainly be seeing me wearing them in London come 21st of April. I absolutely love them. And to be honest, I can see why some people prefer them to the Alphas. Do I? That's a tough question and probably a video in itself. The Vapors certainly have some benefits compared to the Alphas. They're slightly cheaper, they're quieter, and they're a lot more sturdy. On top of that, 7-minute miles have never felt so easy. Now, I am aware that I'm a lot fitter and faster than I was when I was racing in the Alphas, so it's an unfair judgment to go solely based on that, because in all fairness, the Alphas do have this amazing ability to make you feel like some sort of Duracell bunny. The legs just seem to tick over and over and over in them, and the max cushioning really helps to keep the DOMs and the fatigue away. So who knows, maybe I'll get my hands on a pair of the new Alpha Flies soon, test them out and compare the two. But for now, the Vapors are certainly a strong contender for my new favourite shoe. So there you have it, my peak week of training, my first couple of outings in the new Vaporfly 3s, and even a sneak peek into what an Easter cheat day looks like for me. Now we move into the taper phase. 2 weeks of eating and recovering. During this phase, running will still be a priority, but with some decreased mileage. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like in a future video. But for now, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling confident, and I'm feeling ready for London in just 3 weeks' time. Sub 320, I'm coming for you.